early on, I tried to do everything on my own. I tried to learn on my own, just do everything on my own, be a one man team. And I think in some cases that's okay. But I quickly learned along the journey that real estate is a team sport. And the more people that's in your network and the relationships that you build along that journey, honestly, the better off you're going to be, because you never know like when you're going to need something or someone or a resource or someone in the network. And so, you know, about halfway through that journey, I realized that like I need to surround myself with other like-minded individuals. I've got dreams, I've got dreams, I've got dreams to find a way out. I've got dreams, I've got dreams.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Keith Andrews podcast. Today, I have my good friend Stuart Grazier here. He is a retired naval officer and an incredible real estate entrepreneur. Stuart built an impressive portfolio and thriving community, helping other service members and veterans achieve financial freedom and build lasting wealth. He's the founder of the Military Investor Network, and I'm actually a part of that community myself. So I've seen firsthand what this community offers, and it's pretty amazing. I'm really excited to sit down with Stu. Let's do it. Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, dude. Thanks. I appreciate it. Same to you.
Yeah, we're actually going to be dropping this podcast tomorrow morning. So
nice. All right.
It's quite appropriate to what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, dude, for sure. For sure. Oh, yeah, man. Thanks to all the veterans out there.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And I'm really happy to have you on this show. I'm excited about it. So to get started, let's introduce my audience to who you are. Let's maybe give a snapshot of your military story. What did you do? How long did you serve? And what was that transition like stepping into the civilian world?
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for the opportunity to come on your show and talk to all your guests. I really appreciate it. My name is Stu Grazier, and I'm a lover of Jesus, and I'm a family man. I have a bride of 17 years. I have a daughter who's 10 and a son who is 7. And I served 20 years in the Navy. Right out of high school, I went to the Naval Academy, got recruited to play baseball there. Played baseball D1 for a few years, and then I got really hurt in an accident on the field and stopped playing. Thankfully, it didn't mess up my eyesight enough to where it impacted my service selection, and I ended up going pilot. Flew helicopters for 10 years, primarily all out of San Diego, and then transitioned. The Navy calls it full-time support. FTS Army calls it AGR, Active Guard Reserve. I ended up going there at the halfway mark of 10 years, learned how to fly Boeing 737s, thinking I wanted to be an airline pilot afterwards. Realized, halfway through, I did not want to be an airline pilot afterwards. So I just continued my service, finished out kind of more on the staff roles, leadership roles, and finished here in Colorado as the XO of the Reserve Center at Buckley Air Force Base in Denver. And we just loved it here and had decided to call it home. My dad's originally from the area. And so now we live here. And I primarily do real estate full time now. Along the Navy journey, I was super interested. I've always had like an entrepreneur heart, and always learning new things, trying new things. Along that path, I started learning about real estate. I'd see somebody doing something, I'd go read a book on it, listen to podcasts on it, and then I would just go try it. Started in flight school. A buddy of mine was buying raw land in Alabama, and I was like, okay, I'll go do that. And so just went over to the other side of the line there, talked to a guy in Orange Beach, Alabama. He was a realtor. He was showing me some lots, and I bought a $50,000 lot, put 10% down, financed it, and bought a raw piece of land in a new development, having no idea what I was going to do with it, beyond just that's what this other dude was doing. And so that's kind of been my story in the real estate world. Go learn something, try it, figure it out. Sometimes I win, sometimes I fail. Back to that, piece of land. a hurricane came through like 6 months after I bought it, and like basically wiped out like most most of that area. I was like, oh great, there goes my investment. But after rebuilding, people started to come back, and the realtor reached out to me and was like, hey, this piece of land that you have, it's the last lot in the development, and someone wants to buy it. It wasn't even like on the market. Someone wants to buy it for $95,000, and I bought it for 50. So within like a year, 9 months to a year,
That's
I basically doubled my the investment, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I like real estate. So from there, I just started trying new things, and it's been a journey since. And we can kind of get into more of the story afterwards.
that's cool. So the first real estate deal you ever did you already own a home at that point though?
No, I did not.
No.
I was just renting a house in Pensacola in flight school with some buddies, which lots of regrets in real estate after learning, but I wish I would have bought a house in Pensacola, Florida, and rented
Oh,
out rooms
absolutely.
and done like the
Yeah,
house thing.
imagine what that would be worth today.
I know, man. I know.
But you had a win. You had your first real estate investment land deal was a win, and then what came next? Like, because I know you've done a lot of different things when it
Yeah.
comes to real estate. So let's touch on what one actually like hooked you in, where you're like, okay, this is my lane.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, I kept on trying different things, right? So I took that profit, uh, graduated from flight school, got stationed in San Diego, California, and I took the money from that land deal and put it into a house in San Diego. It was really expensive in San Diego, but it was growing like crazy. And so a buddy of mine like kind of went in 50-50 on a house in Pacific Beach, PB, close to the beach. And it's funny to say this, but like so two young lieutenants, probably what 25 years old, we went in together on a house. It was $850,000 was the purchase price, in 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was back when they were just like handing loans out, right? Like, hey, you're gonna like, and the mortgage broker was like, hey, you're gonna rent some rooms out, right? And this will be counted towards your income. We'll put that on there so we can qualify you. But that's what we did. We house hacked, so to speak. We rented out every single room, and we even rented out like the basement garage area. Like a dude was like sleeping on a mattress in the garage. It was pretty hilarious. But I mean, it basically paid our mortgage and more. We were actually making money on the house until 2008 9 came along, and my partner decided to get stationed on the East Coast, and then he ended up deciding to get out of the military altogether. But we kept it for quite a few years. We kept it until 2012, until we were at a place where like my partner just couldn't handle it anymore. So we ended up selling it through a short sale, which hurt. And again,
Ooh.
you look at it now, it's like in the millions. Where
Yeah, yeah.
so if we could hold on to it, so lots of lessons learned there along the way. But yeah, I kept on trying new things. Interestingly enough, I ended up getting into private lending as kind of like my first like really niche understanding, like private mortgages, mortgage notes, investing in that. And as my real estate journey continued, I would just like save up money, like live below our means, go on deployment, make a bunch of money, and come back with a stash of money. And I was busy, man. Like flying, I was teaching, instructing, going on deployments, and so I wasn't really like in the mindset of like flipping houses and doing that kind of stuff. So I was more like in the like how could I put my money to work. So I started doing like private lending. I'd find a flipper who needed like 25 grand, 50 grand, and I'd just lend that money out and just kind of keep my money working for itself. And so, kind of like that's not the normal like route for people to go, but that's kind of where I started. And I got into that lending world really, really early and learned a ton from it. So, and then, later on in life, kind of got more into the house flipping when I had some more time on my hands.
Okay, so if we fast forward to as far as your real estate journey goes, where are you today?
Where am I today? So, my college roommate and I started a real estate, basically a turnkey real estate company, flipping houses. We started that in 2018. Got really successful really quickly, really just through word of mouth. We got to a place where we were doing about 50 to 60 house flips a year, turning them all into rental properties.
Now, wait, hold on. Were you in the military still when you started this?
Active military. Yeah, in a leadership position. I was the XO of the Reserve Center when we started that. Yeah, and he was the commanding officer of a big cyber command in Fort Meade. So both in like big leadership positions, and yeah, we were flipping 50 houses a year. Um,
Wow.
it was busy. It was, and there's some lessons learned in that too, right? But yeah, it was busy, and so yeah, we did that all because really some failures. So like we bought some turnkey companies along the journey. They were terrible, bad locations. People said that they're in. The company said they were in C plus or B minus neighborhoods. They were like in D,
Yeah.
neighborhoods, and any cash flow that you had throughout the year was wasted because you then had to turn and the house was in terrible condition. My business partner David, he caught the company like in a really big lie, like fraudulent. Like they said that they were putting a house, a HVAC system in or a water heater, but they weren't. They were just pocketing the money. So all those lessons learned, those hard lessons, turned us into really creating a company around our values, around being honest, which is a crazy thing in this world these days.
It
Just
is.
being honest, right? And that like that alone kind of set us apart, and we really grew quickly. So we were selling a bunch of turnkey rental properties along that journey. 2018 to 2021, we were just building. We using private money for all of our deals, borrowing money, just doing deal after deal after deal, and getting better along the way, learning, growing. And then that allowed us to pick up our own portfolio of rental properties, and then also allowed us, other opportunities to like, do some commercial syndications, build out a lending fund, really learn how to grow and scale private money, raise capital for, for bigger deals. And so, at the end of the day, now we're at a place where we have a portfolio of about 24 single family houses and duplexes. We're general partners on 2 mobile home parks, a mixed use property. My wife and I separately have an RV park, and we're winding down a 5-year term of a multi-million-dollar private lending debt fund. And so we'll be closing that out. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So you definitely have quite the experience then. And it sounds like you just did a lot of just let me dive in and just see what happens, and it either works or it doesn't. And you ran across crooked people along the way. And at what point did you? Because now you're kind of transitioning your whole mission in life. So let's talk about that, specifically the Military Investor Network and why you created it.
Yeah, man. Early on, I tried to do everything on my own. I tried to learn on my own, just do everything on my own, be a one man team. And I think in some cases that's okay. But I quickly learned along the journey that real estate is a team sport. And the more people that's in your network and the relationships that you build along that journey, honestly, the better off you're going to be, because you never know like when you're going to need something or someone or a resource or someone in the network. And so, about halfway through that journey, I realized that like I need to surround myself with other like-minded individuals. They say that your network is your net worth, or you're
It's true.
you're the person of like surround yourself with like 5 people, and like that's who you're going to become. So that's what I like started trying to do. I started to inject myself into other groups, growing, paid lots of money for like high level masterminds that were with people doing great stuff. And I loved community, and I found that one of my passions and one of my giftings, if you will, that God created for me is just the idea that I love networking and I love connecting. I get great joy out of like taking Keith and another guy, just thinking like, man, you guys will be great together.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going to come of it, but you should meet.
Yeah.
Ready, go. And like sitting back and just watching what happens. And I love that. Like I love like with no intentions of like benefiting me at all. I just really get a lot of joy of that. And I realized that along the journey. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a community and network where that can happen. You can bring smart people into a room. You can bring smart people that are doing really great things, and like throw out questions and ideas and connect people and just like sit back and see what happens. So that's really what the Military Investor Network is all about. It's about community. It's about like helping each other, educating, learning from each other, offering resources, offering connections, and honestly, like offering deals, right? Like it's
Yeah.
so much more fun to do business with people that you know, like, and trust. And so if you can be in a community where like you get to know people, you help each other, you offer resources, and then you end up like doing deals together, like it's super fun. So that's really what the Military Investor Network is all about.
I can tell you from firsthand experience being in the Military Investor Network, I've already connected with a few people that have already made a difference in my own business, and I've learned some things.
Yeah.
And so I really love how you have gotten a text and said, "Hey, you guys just talk to each other." And I can tell you, like, some great things have come out of it. So I really do appreciate you, and I really love what you're doing with the Military Investor Network. I think it's so great that we have a growing community of people that can just bounce different ideas off of each other. You have some people that have done it all, some people that are just getting started. So imagine if you had this when you first got into real estate.
Oh
Like,
man,
what different things would have you done? You would have made a lot of different choices, right?
100%, 100%.
So it's absolutely, I absolutely love what you're doing. So maybe you can share with us. I know it hasn't been. I mean, when did you start it? It was like what,
Yeah, I started about 3 months ago, 4 months
three
ago.
months ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any story you can share that's come out of that network already with our listeners? Like something that just like, wow.
I mean, yeah, there's already like people doing doing business together. I threw something out in the group about, hey, who are the private lenders, out here in this group, and we had quite a few responses.
That's
And
beautiful.
and I was up in Pennsylvania with my partner looking at some houses that we're rehabbing, and we went to go look at a new one, and I didn't have any of my own capital readily available because I have it all deployed right now. But I remember like a couple of guys had responded to like who's a private lender, and so I reached out to one of them and was like, "Hey, bud, we're going to look at this house right now. Do you have some capital available? Would you be interested in being a private lender of ours if we make an offer on this deal?" And he was like, "Yep, got it. Let's do it." And so like he committed just off of just like a relationship, right? Like he didn't see the deal, he didn't run the numbers, he didn't do anything. Like he just knows me, right? He knows me, he likes me, he has trust in me, and just the relationship that we had built along the way. I reached out to him and was like, "Hey man, I'm looking for a capital partner. We're gonna make an offer here. Would you be available to be my private lender?" He's like, "Yep, got it." And so like you hear stories about that like that all the time, but that doesn't come. You got to like put in some time. You got to build relationships, and you got to like engage with each other and have conversations with each other. And like he knows my family, and he knows like my values, and he knows who I am as a person. I would never like do anything to or I would do everything to get his capital back. And so there's like a relationship there and a trust factor. And so that's what I'm trying to do with this community is have people in there where they know each other. Like I know your family, I know your kids' names, right? I know your values, and it's so much more fun to do business and partnerships with that. And so like that's really cool. I'm getting texts like of like selfies of guys like that are in the same area that are like that are like
Yeah.
connecting and meeting on their own. That's really fun for me to see because I don't even have to put the effort in to like do that, right? Like they're like out there like connecting, going and hanging out, and like friendships form that way. And so
Yeah.
it's just really fun to kind of see that igniting.
Yeah. I mean, I was introduced to a builder here in Colorado Springs through the Military Investor Network. And we're already putting a deal together. Like he's
That's so
supposed to
cool.
be sending me something today. So it's pretty incredible, man.
That's so
So
cool, man.
I want to know, is this open to just active duty veterans? Like who are the people that should join this group? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Military Investor Network. So really, the one requirement is you have had to have been in the military. You can be active military, you can be reserves, you can be retired, you can have done your 4 years and gotten out. That's fine. But you basically just have to have essentially a DD 214 and or still be in it actively or in the reserves. And this isn't just real estate. One thing that I realized along my journey is there is so many other investment opportunities and niches and assets and classes, all kinds of different strategies that I know nothing about. And
mhm,
selfishly, like I want to learn about that stuff. And I could go listen to a podcast or I could go read a book. But I think the best way to do it is just invite really smart people into a community, have them teach on it, have them become the subject matter expert. And again, I get to start to know them, like them, and trust them. And that will be the person that I go to when I have questions about crypto or what
Hmm.
stock to choose or what mutual fund or, I'm looking at this oil and gas investment. Like, what do you think? Right. And so, like, you start to build this network of smart, highly, like just great people that are doing really cool things around the investment space in general. So, one, if you're a subject matter expert in any area of investing, right? If you're a wealth manager, if you're a financial planner, if you're a real estate investor, if you invest in oil and gas, if you do day trading, come be the subject matter expert in your field to help teach other military veterans about what you do. Because I guarantee you, one, you're going to get smarter yourself because you have to go teach a class on it, and two, you're going to build a business and create more relationships because people are going to come to you, right? So, again, if you're an expert in those fields, we would love for you to join us. If you're not, and if you're just learning, come join because, again, you get better by surrounding yourself with people that are doing the things that you want to do. So, really, it's for any military investor, veteran that's wanting to be better in their field, learn how to be smart with their money and put their money to work, and just like make some friendships. Right? You never know what's going to happen. Partnerships can be built, businesses can be built, or just like go hang out with cool people.
Yeah, it's an incredible opportunity. So if you're out there listening and you're active duty, you're a veteran, maybe you have a little niche that you're doing that you could share with other people. This would be a great place for you. If you're somebody that's just starting out and you're really interested, you've been maybe just listening to Bigger Pockets podcasts or whatever, and you're interested in learning more, this is a great place for you to plug in and just take a look. How do people do that? Like, where do they go?
Yeah, so honestly, there's quite a few places that you can go. I think the easiest way is just to go to militaryinvestornetwork.com. It's just a one-page website. You'll kind of see what it's about. And there's a join now button, and it will take you to the school platform. School is the online platform that we use to communicate with each other. There's forum topics, there's discussions, there's ongoing discussions every single day. And then, Tuesdays we do a lunch and learn every Tuesday at 11:30 Mountain Time. Over lunch, we get together. There's a sign-up sheet so members can sign up and teach a class on what they're smart on. And then we do quarterly accountability calls where we come together, join into small groups, and then talk about what we need in our business. So militaryinvestornetwork.com is a great place. I also do a free monthly community call, and that's for people outside of the community. So I typically will create an event on LinkedIn and make invites there. It's normally the third Friday of every month, but that changes with holidays and stuff like that. But if you're interested in like just being invited to those, you can always just hit that contact us button on the website, militaryinvestornetwork.com. Put in your name and email, and I'll add you to. We have a calendar invite that we send out to everybody, and you can come join us and just learn and connect. And we have really cool conversations. And we've talked about building trusts. We've talked about flipping. We've talked about this month we're going to talk about like activating your subconscious mind. Just like really cool information, and it's just a learning opportunity, connection, network opportunity.
I think not only is it a learning opportunity, but it's also a place that if you have a question, you can ask, and someone out there is going to give you a good answer. Like I get asked all the time, like, "Hey, what's the best way I should structure my rental? Should it be under an LLC, under a trust?" Like all these different types of questions. You can come to this network and start out right instead of starting out wrong and figuring out the hard way.
Oh, dude, yeah. There was so many mistakes I made along my journey, and mistakes are great, right? You learn from them,
They
you
are.
get better from them. But if I would have if I would have joined a group where people are 10 years ahead of me, 5 years ahead of me, even a couple years ahead of me, and they've like already learned their mistakes, and they can help you not make those same mistakes, that tiny little investment in your time, and like just like a monthly little like membership fee, dude, so worth it, so worth it. I've gained so much value from joining groups where people are just a little bit ahead of me, right? It's so good.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, I really, really appreciate you sharing your journey with us and the Military Investor Network. I do have some final questions for you that I asked everyone.
Let's do it.
What is the best investment you've ever made?
best investment I've ever made. Honestly, marrying my wife, and just investing into that relationship. We've been married 17 years. Like I said, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I always have like crazy ideas, and she's the first person to always be supportive of me, even when she's like nervous, scared, like worried. She's the first one there to be my support unit, my cheerleader, helps me like whatever, build websites, do podcasts, like all the things. Like she's the first one there. So that's a huge investment. You got to find a bride that will, or a spouse that will be there to support you along the journey.
I agree. What about your worst investment or biggest lesson learned?
Biggest lesson learned. So, um, lots of lessons learned around partnerships and trust. I'm a really trustworthy type of guy. Like I'm quick to trust somebody, and not everyone has the same values that I do, right? And there are people that will take advantage of that. So there's been quite a few different partnerships along my journey where I put a lot of trust in them. Maybe it wasn't, maybe I didn't do like the no kidding joint venture agreement, sign on the dotted line kind of thing because I thought he was, or they were my friends, right?
Yeah.
And it was a handshake kind of deal that came to bite me really bad. And so I think that learning how to protect yourself a little bit more in partnerships, in deals, doing a little bit more due diligence. I mentioned the turnkey company that I used that just was not good. Like that was like a recommendation from somebody on Bigger Pockets. I did like 30 minutes of due diligence. I didn't ask many questions. I'm an action taker, so I just pulled the trigger and went, right? So there is some lessons learned on doing some due diligence, having some trust, but trust and back it up with like no kidding, some documentation. So good lessons learned there.
That is great advice. I've been there too. My wife always says you're too trusting, and it's burnt me a few times where I just want to get something done so bad, and I kind of like squint my eyes. Oh, it's going to be okay. Big mistake. So great advice. Favorite book or quote that keeps you grounded?
Favorite book or quote? Let's see, man. I'm a huge reader. I got tons and tons of books on the wall. Let's see. I'm just going to look for someone here. So this one right here I have a whole box of them. Made for People by Justin Whitmore Early. We had him on a podcast not too long ago. We bought like a box of like 50 books, and I hand these out all the time to people. It's all about how God made us to be in relationships, how God made us to be in community, and no kidding, like have like deep, meaningful conversations and friendships. I have a really, really close friend, David, my business partner. We have offices next to each other. We hang out. We do life together. This is really, really important to like have no kidding friendships and relationships. And that starts with being in community. So
yeah, and that's really what the Military Investor Network is about too. So
yeah, man.
Great. Okay. One thing you wish every veteran understood about building wealth and opportunity after service.
So I mentioned buying that house in San Diego. I did not buy that house with a VA loan. Didn't do it. I used my money that I made from our land deal, and I didn't use the VA loan until probably my third or fourth house that we had lived in.
I hear that a lot, man.
There just wasn't the education out there at the time, or maybe there was. I just didn't seek it, right? I didn't find it. So I think just the VA loan in general, right? The VA loan. There's so many ways that you can use that thing. I've interviewed guys that are in the Military Investor Network. They bought like a almost like a fixer upper, but enough to where like be livable in it, like the ugliest house in the neighborhood. But they used their VA loan, so they put no money into it. They went and lived in it for 2 years, fixed it up, and then when they changed duty stations, they sold it, made a huge profit, all tax free, and they put very little or zero of their own money into it. You could go that way. You could use the VA loan, buy a house, and rent out all the rooms to other service members, friends, right? Like I said, I wish I would have done that in Pensacola. I wish I would have bought a house, used the VA loan, rented out all the rooms to my buddies in flight school, and like made money off of that, right? So there's so many ways that you can use the VA loan to take advantage of being in the military, being active duty, and it's never too late. Like you can always start.
Yep. Great advice, Stu. I really appreciate you, man, and everything you were doing. If you're listening out there, definitely go check out the Military Investor Network. It will definitely be worth your while. Stu, man, thank you. To all my listeners out there, hope everyone has a beautiful day, and God bless.